You guys are welcome to start really however feels good. So if you've got stuff in the chest that you want to open, maybe we start with the heart bench where we have one block parallel with the top and one block up. And then we bring the shoulder blades to the block that's first. Or maybe you want to kind of stretch out the lats. Sometimes our shoulders are tight because our lat muscles are tight. So if we come into a supported puppy with those arms out, that's going to stretch the armpits and then the lats. So that's a nice way to target that to open. Or maybe you want to think about dropping into the hips. Bring those blocks flat on the floor. Lie on the back, bring the feet to the blocks. And that's going to kind of drop the breath and drop those hip sockets into the hips a little bit. You're always welcome to just come to your backs. So giving yourself permission to drop into whatever space is right for you. Yeah, and a big exhale to come into this space. Just allowing that breath to come and go as we drop into our practice of yin. Allowing ourselves to receive this practice and all of its benefits. On this next out breath, just imagine the entire belly softening. And as we might say, just kind of let it all hang out. We often, think of contracting the muscles and drawing the belly in, but just let it all hang out. If you were in the car and you had your seatbelt on, it was hanging over the seatbelt maybe. Soften the stomach, let those muscles relax. We'll be here for a few breaths, for a few moments. It might feel like several, it might feel like a snap of a finger. Just letting go of any concept of time, maybe even letting go of any expectations. And as we come into the space, sending kindness to all of our parts. And if we notice a part of the body that might feel a little stiffer than another part, maybe thanking that part for its message, for the awareness that it brings to that part of the body. A quote from one of my favorite Stoics is, "The impediment is the way." The impediment is the way. What arises as perhaps what we might consider a crisis might actually be great opportunity. And what arises as tension in the body might be a message. Just allowing ourselves to drop into ease, drop into yin. We'll count down from 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And if you have that block under the shoulder blade, to be drawing those elbows towards the block, bringing that chin to the chest nice and slowly, pressing the elbows into the floor, leaning to one elbow and sliding that block out from underneath the back, coming into our first rebound. The legs be long, the back be flat. Adjusting glutes, shoulders, palms, heels, calves, knees. And maybe the exhale softens the cheeks and the lips and the chin and the jaw. Give an intention for your practice tonight. Feel that intention in your being. Perhaps an adjective or a virtue. Saying the words I am before the virtue or before the adjective. Maybe you bring to mind your favorite color or your preferred color and allow that to bring your mind back like an anchor if your mind begins to wander. Whatever will anchor your mind this evening. Now when you're ready, let's bring feet to the floor, knees to the sky, kind of lift the hips and let the low back come to the floor. And then bring the soles of the feet together and drop the knees out, coming into our reclined butterfly. Maybe you bring a hand to the belly and a hand to the heart and feel that connection of body and breath with the rise and fall of the chest and the stomach as you breathe in and out. That can be grounding and that could be an anchor in itself. Or perhaps you want to bring your arms up overhead, kind of like what you do when you stand in that X-ray machine at the airport. And just let those arms open, the chest open. You might lift the shoulder blades and allow for a little space between the back and the floor. It's going to open up the shoulders and the chest. So it's kind of like a butterfly overhead. And soften the eyebrows, corners of the eyes. The eyelids. And the soft part beneath the eyeball, beneath those lashes. And the entire face, the chin. And then relax the pinky edge side of the foot that perhaps is resting on the floor. Relaxing the soles of the feet and the heels, the big toe, second toe, third, fourth, and pinky toes, relax. Trusting that just as you plant a seed to later bear tomatoes or peppers, this intention that you've planted in your heart will soon blossom when you need it in your life. Bring your awareness to your heart in the front of the body, the sides of the body. Notice the heart beating into the sides of the ribs. And then breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Now first, maybe bringing palms just above the knees on those inner thighs, or maybe to the hips. And then bringing those hands to the floor. And then bring feet to the floor, the knees towards the ceiling. And then send one leg long, and then send the next leg long. And find your rebound. And pause. Relax the shoulder blades, relax the shoulders, the elbows, the wrists, and the palms, and back to the hands. And perhaps moving the awareness from those joints and extremities to the subtle movement of chi within the body. Nice job, you guys. Let's breathe in and breathe out. Now our next shape is half saddle. So we can do this from our position here. So maybe bring the right foot to the floor. And then maybe you kind of lift the hip and lift the glute. So you're kind of have the right glute off the floor just a little maybe. And then bring the right foot out to the side and let that right knee drop in, bending the leg. So that right knee might hover over the floor. And the other way to come into this shape that you might want to try, you might prefer, is to come to seated and bring that right leg out or left leg out, and bring that right knee, heel back, the right knee down, and then recline back and come into that shape little by little onto the forearms and then onto the back. And pausing. Yeah. Yeah. Quad. Yeah, you'll probably feel this in the quad. Yeah, so you'll probably feel that in that quad of that bed wave. And if you don't, give me a wave and we can find a different way to come into this shape or a different shape entirely. And this is that gallbladder meridian. That's more the stomach, but also a little bit of the gallbladder. So imagine as we wind down for the day, we're digesting our day here, sifting through conversations that support the highest version of ourselves and kind of just disposing of any bullshit, right? Letting it go. And maybe you bring a hand to the heart, to the belly, feeling that body, breath connection. If you find yourself holding your breath because of the deep stretch, maybe bring your awareness back to breathing, just in and out. Maybe bringing awareness to the top of the foot and tracing that awareness up the front of the shin, across the knee, across the front of the quad to the hip flexors, into the belly, and then softening the belly. And then again, maybe to that big toe to the top of the foot. Tracing the energy across the shin, across the front of the knee, across the front of the quad, across those hip flexors, and just softening into the stomach. The impediment is the way. Opening our mind to opportunity. Perhaps seeing beyond what's in front of us, to read between the lines, to go deeper. Now on your next exhale that maybe softens that belly, think about kind of bringing that knee to the sky as you bring that foot back to the floor, really nice and controlled. Be mindful of that hip. And then send the right leg nice and long. And drop into your rebound. Perhaps noticing the front of that right leg and the front of the left leg. The back of the right leg, back of the left leg. And then just drop into being. One more breath in. The exhale, leaving the body, bringing awareness to the soles of both feet. And then your next exhale, bring that left foot to the floor. And kind of lift, kind of roll over kind of onto the right just a little bit to drop that left knee down and adjust that left heel as you bend that left leg coming into this half saddle on the other side. And if that's not working for you, to come into it off the back, just come up to your seated position. And I often like to bring a bolster behind me. So that right leg is long, left foot on the ground, drop the knee in, and recline back on the forearms or the back body, or the back of the bolster, excuse me. And then you can slowly move the bolster out of the way or bring yourself to your back off the forearms. Or sometimes it's just really nice to have that support because you'll still feel that opening in the front of the leg. Maybe beginning to trace the energy, trace the front of that left leg, starting with the big toe, moving across the foot, across the shin, across the front of the knee, the quad, the hip flexors, and just letting everything dissolve into that stomach, where that stomach is digesting. Good, and that knee doesn't have to touch the floor. For many of us, it won't. For some of us, it will. It doesn't have to. It's not right or wrong if it does or doesn't.
I want to see that. Who's that in
What?
I want to see that. Who wants their knee on the floor?
I think you do, don't you? That's more just the rotation of the hip and the pelvis and how those sockets come together, and it's not necessarily, it's nothing bad at all. And again, maybe tracing that energy across the big toe, the top of the foot, the shin, the knee. Adjusting shoulder blades. As those hip flexors open, we often have opening across the shoulders and the upper chest as well. Upper back. Imagining that fascia of the body, just like that fisherman's net, when you cast it into the water and you pull it up, those little squares might be concentrated smaller where your hand is. And those squares are further apart and bigger at the bottom of the net. But as you lay that net out, those squares become equal in size. It's happening with our fascia. It's releasing tension in that membrane thin layer across every muscle, across every organ, all connected. Now, however makes sense to you, maybe bringing just that left foot to the side and down, or maybe bringing the foot to the floor, then to the sky first, coming into your rebound. Adjusting those sits bones, the glutes, the calves, the heels, those shoulder blades. And then maybe noticing that left leg now and that chi that you might feel moving in the right leg. See about closing the eyes and bringing your awareness to the inside of those cheekbones, as if you were looking through the cheekbones from behind them. And then bring your awareness to the inside of the cheeks, soft tissue in your mouth. Soften your gums. Soften the tongue. Soften the low jaw. And then soften behind the earlobes, behind the ears, that little soft part, kind of behind the mandible, behind the ears. And as you're ready, remaining on your back, bring feet to the floor. Lift the sits bones, let that low back come to the earth, bring the knees to the chest, and let's find a happy baby. Maybe the outside of the feet with the hands, or maybe you want to find the big toes with those peace fingers. And then here we'll open up the backs of the legs. We opened up the front, that big quad muscle on the front of the legs. We're going to open the big muscles, the hamstrings on the back of the leg. It's more the fascia, right? It's more the fascia, but we might feel it as if it were the muscle. That's kind of that reference point because we're not really always familiar with fascia, but it's that part of the leg where that fascia is going to get the benefit. And that's what we're targeting, I should say. It's going to benefit everywhere. And maybe exhale. And perhaps bringing in the inhale to a count of 4. And exhaling for 4. And inhale. Just allow that cycle of breath. 4 and 4. Feel that low back on the earth, entire spine on the earth. Be sure to relax the shoulders. Sometimes we kind of tense, and we kind of grip onto those feet. Just allow the hands to rest on the feet and the shoulders to kind of drop open. See about softening that stomach, the sides of the stomach and the sides of the body. And relaxing the mouth, the jaw, the earlobes. And this shape supports digestion as well. A little bit of a compression on the ascending and descending colon. So again, that support of digesting our day. Maybe counting down from 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Slowly releasing the hands from the feet with control. Make sure they don't fly up away from you. And then lower down to the earth. Maybe adjusting those glutes, that low back, the shoulder blades as you come into your rebound here. Noticing kneecaps. Noticing behind the knees and the back of the legs with those soft spots. Maybe between each toe. Maybe spreading the toes and then softening the feet in this rebound. Let's breathe in and exhale. And on your next breath out, bring one foot to the ground, roll over to the opposite side, and we're going to make our way to table. And have a block handy kind of towards your hands. And then from this tabletop, we're going to come into our lizard or our dragon. So we're going to bring that right foot between the hands. And then let that foot, the pinky side of the foot, go out to the side. Bring that knee back, that left knee comes back. So the sole of that right foot is kind of just beaming towards the left side of your mat. Let that right knee drop out. And with that block, you can come onto the block onto your forearms. Or maybe you kind of lift up onto the hands on the blocks, or you can bring your hands to the floor. So you might feel this in the hip flexors of the left leg, and probably the hip of the right leg, maybe the knee. You might feel it in the back. Finding this lizard. And let's let the head be really lazy, as if you were tucking the chin down. That'll be really nice, honey, after your workout today, to let that head just hang. You might notice that maybe it feels good partway through to bring those hands to a block. Might bring a different sensation to the hip flexors. Or maybe you want to come down onto the forearms here on your hands. And still, it's another sensation. Nice, you guys. Really good. And now let's soften the belly. Let it hang over that waistband. Just let, yeah, good. Let the breath just come and go. And then see how it releases when you're not bracing the core. Trying to relax here. Maybe bringing our awareness to count down from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And counting back up to 10 for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, anchoring the mind, 9, 10. Letting go of the breath. Feeling those contact points of the body onto the earth. Feeling grounded in your being. One more breath in. And let the breath go. And now let's slowly kind of bring those hips back. Bring that right foot to the floor. That knee kind of maybe comes over the ankle. Come up kind of towards the table. As you're ready, sweep that right foot back. Then maybe you come onto your rebound onto the front of the body. You can come onto your back body. Any rebound will do. Maybe you bring the cheek to the floor if you're on your belly. Let those arms be as neutral as it can be. Good. Maybe notice the beating of your heart in your chest. Noticing where the chi is going, how fast or slow it's moving. Let's breathe in. Exhale, bring those hands under the shoulders maybe. And then just gently press up to a table. Now from this tabletop position with those knees there, under the hips, bring that left hand forward, or the left foot, maybe towards the outside, that left hand. Bring that right knee back. And then come onto the pinky edge of that left foot. The blocks are there for you, or maybe you have your bolster. And coming onto maybe forearms or hands. Dropping that left knee out. Tapping into the hip flexors. And we'll breathe or release. Nice, guys. Maybe dropping into that stillness again here. And grounding here in this shape, bringing us fully present by noticing the left ankle, the left knee, the left hip, the left shoulder, the left elbow, left wrist, and the fingers of the left hand. Noticing the right ankle, the right knee, the right hip, the right shoulder, the right elbow, the right wrist, and the fingers of the right hand. The belly is soft. The eyes are soft. Perhaps that inner critic is softened as well. Because there's no right or wrong here. I was speaking with a friend a couple weeks ago and I was telling him how wonderful yoga is because there's no right or wrong. And he said, you know, that's not in my life. In my job, it's very stressful. I can't fail. And I said, well, then that's even more reason why you should practice yoga. To take the edge off a little. Give yourself permission to just be and not worry about miscalculating or hitting the wrong button or not carrying the one. Just let yourself come to yoga where there's not a wrong or a right. So inviting that into our space. And now we'll come out of this shape and come into our rebound. Be bringing that foot to the floor, the hip back, hands to the earth, letting that left leg sweep back, maybe coming onto the belly or onto the back. Either way. Oh. Letting the backs of the heels relax, the fronts of the feet. The ribs. And the heart soften. And gently rolling over to one side and coming up to seated. We'll come into our shoelace or our half shoelace. So one option is to bring that left leg out, bring the right foot over that left leg, and just let that right knee kind of drop over the left knee. So that's one way to come into the shape. And you can fold forward. You might feel that in the back of the knee, or back of the left knee. You might feel it in the outer hip. Or the other way is to bring that left heel behind or under the right glute, and that right knee still comes across, and you can bring that right knee on top of the left knee. You might feel that a little bit more in the outer glute then. There's two ways, kind of that same target, and if either one of those doesn't suit you, then you can come into more of a fire log where the knees back on the ankle on the knee. But have that left leg out long or underneath that left foot under the glute. Good. And allow yourself to come into yourself, having cultivated that soft heart, that open heart, coming into your own refuge, that inner sanctuary of yourself. Perhaps repeating your intention, that I am statement, perhaps bringing that awareness to whatever your intention was. Maybe it was that a color or someone that you love. This is again that stomach meridian, a little bit of that gallbladder, depending on which variation that you're in. And it's also the kidney and the urinary bladder meridians along the back. Allowing us to let go of fear and to be in that state of safety. Not feeling as if we're in survival mode, but that refuge. As we are sitting in a more seated position with our back towards the ceiling, towards the sky, just imagine fears or concerns or worries just, float off the back, let it run off the back like a duck, like a waterfall just cascading downward. Allowing ourselves to be in the flow and to receive. Now, from wherever you're at, lifting the chest and the heart, bringing the shoulders over those hips. And then transitioning to the other side, rather than a rebound, we're going to come into a seated butterfly. So we're going to bring those soles of the feet together. Those heels can be far from midline or they can be close. It's going to be a different sensation in the body. And maybe bringing hands towards those feet, adjust those sits bones, and we're going to fold forward. Allowing kind of that tilt of the pelvis, tucking the chin to the chest. And then again, just imagining whatever you can let go of, whatever you want to let go of, running off your back. Nice job, you guys. Good. Good breath. Yoga is such a powerful way to explore just that thought of not having a right or wrong. Sometimes it's nice to know if we did something correctly or incorrectly. But why do we need to know if we were correct or incorrect? What belief system, whether it's cultural, societal, familial, or personal, is built into our system that there needs to be a right or wrong? Why do we feel better when we are right? Getting 2 + 2 to equal 4 versus 5. Now let's bring that heart up away from the feet, from the thighs, shoulders over the hips. And then this time we'll bring that right leg out long. You can bring that left knee across for your half shoelace, or you'll bring that right heel under that left glute and the left knee on top of the right knee for your full shoelace. And again, there's no right or wrong. It's just a different way. So the right leg is, yep, it's out first, and that left leg is you got it. Yep, I know, it's tricky.
What was the first one again?
The right leg is straight. You got it. Yep, right leg is straight, and that left knee foot comes over first and slide the heel back, and the knee drops onto the knee. You got it. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah, and each side is different, right? Good. Really good, you guys. Dropping into this shape, this freedom. Allowing ourselves to exhale into stillness. You're letting that head hang and dangle. The stomach can soften. The shoulders can relax. The spine can round. The chin can tuck. Yep, and if you want to bring a block top of that knee here, like you've got a pillow over there, that's perfect. There's no judgment. The impediment is the way. Slowly bringing those shoulders over the hips, the heart lifting, ears over shoulders, kind of rock it back. Bring that left leg out from the ravel and bring the right leg long if you had it tucked in. And guys, let's drop to one side and go onto our backs for this final rebound of Shavasana. Okay, just letting go. Yeah, and feel this rebound after those 3 shapes. Subsequent shapes to drop us into our final rebound. Really nice. Good job, guys. Soft faces. Just relax. Allow that belly to soften, just like the wax in these candles. The shoulders soften, melting into the floor like wax. Relaxing the toes, the knees, the shins. Tops of the legs, the glutes, hamstring. Relaxing both legs. The hips and the shoulders. Relaxing the elbows, the wrists, the palms, the fingers. The arms and legs so relaxed that you couldn't move them even if you tried. And the throat softens. The earlobes, the cheeks, the temples, the eyebrows relax. The forehead relaxes. Entire body so relaxed you could not move it even if you tried. Now calmly. Relaxed. Coming up to seated, close together. Maybe you want to remain on your back. Just taking a scan of this sanctuary that is yourself. Free of judgment. Let's try that on for size. A softened inner critic. Full of self-compassion, self-awareness, and self-love. Knowing that we can always be there for ourselves. To drop into this refuge that we are. Let's breathe in, out. Inhale to close. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Namaste. Namaste. Namaste.